Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. How are you on this Wednesday? I actually know what day it is, I think. I spent most of the day asleep, so I have no freaking idea. Just punched my microphone because why not? Start the show off properly. How are you guys? I'm all right. Real quick, Corey, thanks so much. Remember to donate in all caps for Monk's eyesight. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. And Retro, thank you. Call the eye doctor, Monkey. I already did. I called them earlier today. I have an appointment scheduled for the middle of September, and I saw you doubting me there in chat, guys. Oh, ye of little faith. Yeah, I actually called and made my appointment today, and so we'll be getting that looked at. Unfortunately, by the time that happens, this issue with my left eye will have been going on for a month. Whew. Hopefully it's not something serious. Anyhow, so we'll get that looked at. Let's see. Oh, what a day. What a day. For those of you down in the Florida area, especially down there, what are they calling it? The Big Bend? Is that what I'm seeing all over the news? Where you know, the United States at the southern portion is going nice and pretty flat, and then suddenly it hooks off into that wiener that is Florida. That's where Hurricane Steve, that's what I'm calling it. What is it? Adelia? I fuck. I don't care. Hurricane Steve is expected to hit, and they're projecting that it's going to be a Category 4. And I don't mean to be dismissive. Look, guys, if you're in the path of this hurricane, get the fuck out of the way. Listen to them. Don't be dismissive of it. But I do have to have this little rant. I keep seeing this. It's projected. They all announced it as though it is a Category 4 storm. It's a category. It's been upgraded to it hadn't even been upgraded yet. It was just upgraded to a Category 3. Just upgraded. They are projecting that it will be a Category 4 by the time it hits. And it may be. It might be. But how many times have we seen it's expected to hit at a Category 4? And then the damn thing is a tropical storm by the time it makes landfall. Now, this one's close enough at this point. It's probably at least going to hit at the 3. But they just, everybody, all of the news, all over, Category 4 storm. It'd be the first one in recorded history, which, by the way, only goes back 150 years. It goes back, 150? No. I can do math. 180 years. I was right the first time. It goes back to 1850. That is there in recorded history. So back to 1850, the first time a Category 4 would have hit that area of Florida. And yeah, all of them, it's Category 4. It's not a Category 4 yet. Not. Get out of the fucking way. You don't want to be in the way of a Category 3 hurricane either, guys. But yeah, they're all of the doomsdayers are out there. It's going to reform. It's going to rip Florida right the fuck up. Have you guys seen the projected path of how big because to be a Category 4, it's got to have 130 miles sustained winds. How far into Florida that's supposed to go? It's supposed to cross almost all of Florida at the top there at 130 miles an hour, which I suppose is possible. It would be kind of weird for it to sustain that long, but, you know, weirder shit's happened. Damn global warming. Yeah, and they are worried about why they're projecting it. Let's get to that. The reason they're projecting it to go up to a Category 4 is because of how warm the Gulf is right now. And hurricanes gather their strength from warm water. So the warmer that water is, the warmer it's going to be, the stronger the hurricane. And we'll see if it actually hit. I hope it doesn't hit at a Category 4. Again, not that a Category 3 is any better, but just the destruction, man. God. Monkey remembers something? Oh, shit, dude, it's not. I remember stuff. It's not often, but it does happen. The main point of this is get the hell out of the way of that hurricane if you're in its path. Get to high ground, get to safe ground, and yeah, don't tempt fate. Because you know what? Look, it's better to waste a whole bunch of gas to go up to where it's safe and then have to come to your home that just had a little tiny bit of storm damage than to be in your home and it fall the fuck down on you. Okay? Just saying. It's just better that way. It's better to take precautions and not need them than to die. Just my opinion. So yeah, get the hell out of the way of this storm. But I have trouble believing anything the forecasters say when it comes to hurricanes because I've been through too many of them. Too many of them. I remember stuff. I'm smart. Fredo monkey. Yeah, I'm smart. I'm the older brother. You're supposed to look up to me, Mikey. Anyhow, that's not what we're here to talk about tonight, though. Seriously, though, if you're in Florida, good luck to you, and please keep your head down and stay safe. We're here to talk about a different state, a slightly more retarded state, a state that is making its own disasters. Instead of letting nature do it, just making their own fucking disasters. Colorado, you guys. Good God, what the hell's been going on in Colorado? Did you hear people are mad you can't explore gas giants in the space Bethesda game? Why would you be able? No, I haven't seen it. Devil Fruit. I haven't looked at really much about Starfield. That's the game you're talking about. But what? Why would you? Never mind. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I'll look. But anyway, so Colorado, and in this case, we're going to be talking about a Colorado school board. For fuck's sake! Now, just so you guys know, we're not going to watch the video that's attached to this, and I'll send you the video if you guys want to watch it. It's not because of what internet I'm on this time, because what's important here is the sound. So if that was the issue, we would still do it. The issue is that the sound is really low, and I have no good way of turning it up. And it is, let's go ahead and bring up the full tweet that this is a part of. We actually have several tweets that this is a part of. Meet 12-year-old Jaden, who was kicked out of class yesterday in Colorado Springs for having a Gadsden flag patch, which the school claims has origins in slavery. The school's director said via email that the patch was disruptive to the classroom environment. Receipts in the thread. So this video right here is the video of the mom going to the school and saying, what the fuck did you say? So he had a couple of other patches on the bag. So first, let's get that out of the way. When the school board released their notice that they sent home to all parents for some reason over this incident, it said that he had patches with guns on them, which he did. He had patches with guns on him, and those ones are allowed under different various rulings to be, hey, you can't have that. All right, fair enough. But he also had the Gadsden flag. Now, if you guys saw the thumbnail, that's the big yellow flag with the snake coiled up and the little grass, and says, "Don't tread on me." And they said, you can't wear that one either. And they were like, but why? And so they sit down with this bitch right here. That the bitch who's grabbing that chair. I don't even know what the fuck she's doing in that picture. They sit down with her to discuss it. And she says this: the reason they don't want him wearing that flag is because of that flag's origins in slavery and the slave trade. That is a direct quote. A direct quote. Its origins in slavery and the slave trade. Now, for those of you who aren't nerds or don't know your history that well, the Gadsden flag has nothing to do with slavery. Nothing. That's not where its origin comes from at all. The origin of the Gadsden flag is that back in 1775, Christopher Gadsden developed this flag. He's the one that what's the word I'm looking for here? Designed that flag. He designed it. And it went out to, it was on a Continental warship. It was for the Continental Army. It was for the revolutionaries. against the British. 1775. Do the math. It origins in slavery and the slave trade. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my God. Castle One, thank you. You saw today that Trump's indictment is good because the populace will choose to hurt itself if given the choice. This person calls the GOP authoritarian. Also, I'm not yelling. Remember to stay calm. Heart health, monkey. Thank you so much. Look, when it comes to the Trump indictments, you're not going to tell me that the left said something stupid and actually surprised me. The Gadsden flag is a flag saying fuck off. It's not even saying fuck off. It's not. If you look at what's actually going on there, it's a rattlesnake, which by the way, um, at the time was very much associated with the rebels in the Continental Army. There's another. What's the flag? It was part of a movement to bring the colonies together, and it's a rattlesnake all cut up, and it says "Join or die." Eh, we all come together, and then we're safe. But you keep the snake cut up, and we're just dead. Anyway, it's not even saying don't don't fuck with this. You mind your business, and we'll mind ours. Once the oppression is where the issue is. If you're walking through the grass, right, and there's a rattlesnake there, and you don't get close to it, you'll never even hear it rattle. It's going to mind its own business. You'll start to hear it rattle when you get close to its area. And until you're basically right on top of it, it's not going to fuck with you. That's the whole thing here. Leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. So, I mean, it's kind of a don't fuck with, or it's not a fuck off flag. It's a don't fuck with us flag. Leave us alone. Mind your business, we'll mind ours, and everything will be fine. But if you step on us, you're going to get bit. And that's kind of, I mean, the British learned that lesson, didn't they? So this ignorant bitch, I want to bring up this picture. It's a still frame from this video. Like I said, I wish we could just watch the damn video. But unfortunately, that volume is so ridiculously low. It's the mom is like recording it in secret. You can tell by where the camera placement is, and you keep seeing this little baby's foot pop up on her knee here. Right over here, you'll see a baby's foot pop up from time to time. But look at the way, I don't know how well you can see it. That teacher. So the mom says, she's talking, she goes, unless you guys ban all patches, then it doesn't make sense that he couldn't have this patch. And he starts talking, when he shouldn't have, and explaining that, yeah, there's other people that have patches. They have their name on a patch or the American flag on a patch. And she looks at him with this, really, little kid? Really? Now, I'm not all that up on children standing up to adults, unless the adults are absolutely wrong. And then I'm okay with it. In this case, the adults are absolutely wrong. They put out that this flag was fucking part of slavery, not just racist, part of slavery. Slavery. It has nothing to do with that shit. What the fuck are you talking about? You are the okay. I wasn't going to get into this just yet, but we keep being told that parents have no reason to be involved in school curriculum. You don't know. The educators know. They're educated to know how to educate. They don't even know basic American history. And all of their bullshit, all of it, because there's an email that they put out. It was an email to the mom. I don't know. We'll find it in a second. But where they're like, here's sources that show this is bad. Because this went all the way to the school board. To the school board. It's not just the school. The school board, according to this lady, is the reason that you're not allowed to use it. They told us, we got guidance on this from the school board. They're the ones who came down and went, nah, man, that's some slavery right there. Was this teacher by chance a history teacher? I have no idea. But I mean, they say it's 7th grade, so I don't know what class he was pulled out of for this. But there's several teachers involved here in this little thing because there's the disapproving lady right there who's staring at the child incorrectly. And off to her right, the left of the screen there's another one. There's somebody within the school itself that is the liaison to the school board that she's going to put mom in contact with so she can contact them. And then there's the entire school board. All of these people, presumably, are educated. All of them. And not one of them went, the kid's right. Not one of them went, that has nothing to do with slavery. What are you talking about? No, not one of these goddamn educators knew enough. Not one of them went, hang on, maybe we should look that up just to make sure. Instead, they give mom links to like a Washington Post article. And I forget what the other two posts were, but these things that come very recently about how the Gadsden flag has been used by white supremacist organizations, don't you know? The white supremacists, yeah, them bastards, they waved the flag, so therefore it's a racist flag. It's slavery. Eagle, not exactly. Eagle says, well, at least the school board set it straight, though. All right, so what happens is the school board holds a emergency meeting. They held an emergency meeting to do something that they could have just looked it up on Wikipedia. Like literally, you don't even have to go to a deep historical site. You can just look up Wikipedia and it'll explain where this fucking thing came from. No, they had to have an emergency school board meeting for it. All right. So let's get into the thread itself. Let's read the rest of this shit that went on. All right. So meet Jaden, blah, blah, blah. They cited US EEOC, which admitted that the flag originated in the Revolutionary War in a non-racial context. That's a quote. This is who they point to say, see? First case, when EEOC required the complaint to be reviewed, and they said, yeah, there's nothing to it. Nothing to it. Hey, don't pay any attention to that. But then said, however, it was whatever the historic origins and meaning of the symbol, it has also since been sometimes interpreted to convey racially tinged messages. And here's their this is the Washington Post article. And the next one is tied to the Confederate flag and other white supremacy groups, including patriot groups. Now we see where we're getting to it. You got the patriot moms out there. Ooh, can't have moms for liberty. And this one comes from Oregon.live. You can barely see the thing there. And tied to hate groups. Yeah, you can't. I wish we could see this better, but the link that they provide right here, where it's tied to this white supremacy, is from OregonLive.com. And it is from 2001. It says, "Don't tread on me" flag widely flown by Capitol rioters is going to be the next word that you can't see here. So that's where their origins in slavery that apparently they told this woman to tell this mother. That's where it comes from. The origins in slavery are the January 6th riot. Yep. But that's okay. It's other white supremacist groups. Again, nobody has yet to show that the January 6th riot was white supremacist in nature at all. They keep using it. They keep trying to frame it that way. But there's no evidence of that. But they don't need evidence. They just, if you repeat the lie long enough, you repeat it enough times, people start to believe it. Who was it that said that? Anyhow, as we move along, they also get the decision by the Navy in 2016 to not fly or wear the Gadsden flag. Now, the Navy's allowed to do whatever they want in that respect. And their reasoning for it, I didn't go dig up that article. It's from 2016. But we were already starting to see this kind of shit because you had, your meme wars and everything going on back then. And Gadsden has a real big revival at that time. And there's even one out there. It's the snake with Pepe's head, and it says, "Don't tread on meme," which is funny. But anyway, it's all nonsensical. It has nothing to do with the actual history of the flag. Nothing. And if you're going to start saying, well, a recent thing means you can't have any historical context, well, then there's a whole lot of other stuff we need to get rid of. Now, let's talk for just a moment. Let's talk for just a moment about what we've seen so far. Because these stories, everyone that I've seen ignores one big issue. It's not the First Amendment, believe it or not. I mean, that is part of it. But it's SCOTUS decisions on the First Amendment. The Supreme Court of the United States, in a pretty famous case that you may have heard of, decided that students don't lose their freedom of speech when they go to public schools. And in this case, apparently it's a charter school. We'll get to that in a minute if I remember. But there was a case, this is back in the 60s, right? People were protesting the Vietnam War by wearing black armbands. And their school told them, you can't do that. And while SCOTUS came out and said, look, there's certain things the schools, to keep things from getting out of control or certain banned substances kind of things that adults would have the right to wear. There's certain things schools can tell people they can't do, but you can't just blatantly step on their freedom of speech because you don't like their message. This is a clear violation of not only the First Amendment, but of SCOTUS precedent. Mom, you should sue. Did they finally turn around and do it properly? Sure. But until then, they told your son he couldn't come to school with that patch on. Clear violation of the First Amendment. They trampled his First Amendment rights. You can go, oh, but they gave it to, no. You don't get to trample it for just a couple of minutes and go, oh, my bad. My bad. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. All right. As you can hear the mom say in the video, Jaden wanted to stand up for his non-racist beliefs. So after he was kicked out of class, he asked his mom to take him to the news station to get the word out. He got the idea from the Tuttle Twins book. I don't know what the Tuttle Twins is. I looked it up real quick, but seems to be a book for young people on history and stuff. I don't have any association with them, so I can't tell you, yes, get that for your kids or don't, whichever. But anyway, they declined an interview. The school trampling on this kid's rights, and the local NBC station, hey, we're the ones who hold government accountable. By the way, your school boards they absolutely are government. Nah, couldn't be bothered. Could not be bothered. Didn't care. So what rule was he actually breaking? According to the director, this is the one. Referring to drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and weapons. Drugs, tobacco, alcohol, or weapons. Now, as I said, some of his patches did have guns on there. And they are allowed to be like, yeah, you can't have that. What you can't do is tell him that you can't wear the Gadsden flag, because that doesn't violate any of those. It's not obscene, it's not profane, vulgar, lewd, or legally libelous. It doesn't advocate disruptive behavior even, which if I was them, I would have went with 3, because at least it's the closest one they have. Maybe 5, threatening the safety or welfare of any person. You tread on me, you're going to get bit. I guess that's kind of a threat. But promote any activity prohibited in the student but they went with alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. There's don't care about those two. All right, we won. Yesterday, the student returned with the patch still visible on his backpack. Following the district's direction, Vanguard administrators pulled the student aside and so that they could speak with his parents and the district. Upon learning of the day's events, the Vanguard School Board of Directors called an emergency meeting. Wikipedia. Anyway, from Vanguard's founding, we have proudly supported our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the ordered liberty that all Americans have enjoyed for almost 250 years. The Vanguard School recognizes the historical significance of the Gadsden flag and its place in history. This incident is an occasion for us to reaffirm our deep commitment to a classical education in support of these American principles. At this time, the Vanguard School Board and the district have informed the student's family that he may attend school with the Gadsden flag patch visible on his backpack. Sincerely, the board of directors, a bunch of fucking shitheads. Okay, so seems like a win, yeah? Hey, win one for the good guys, right? Well, maybe not. Jaden update. The Vanguard School Board of Directors informed Jaden's parents that he is allowed to wear the patch. But I just talked to his mom, and the school district called later to say that it's allowed until a staff member or student reports it. This isn't over. Well, that's not we're going to put this bitch back on the screen so we can see who we're talking about here. It's allowed until somebody reports it. Remember, they sent out an email to everybody in the school, all the parents in the school. Hey, so there's a kid wearing a patch out there. How do you think this first got reported? Somebody objected. And in this case, it seems like it was the teacher who objected because it was disrupting class. They don't give any example of how this, like, all the kids were standing around it and they had a big heated political argument about it. No, it was disruptive to class. It was disruptive to you because you're a dumb little white lady who's been through college within the last 10 years and you don't know shit and think you know everything. Oh, sorry. Get down off that soapbox. We're on a different soapbox for the minute. Until it's reported. There's a teacher right there who's already done it. You think she's going to let this kid, because that is her student, by the way. You think she's going to let this kid actually have a decent year, that there will be no retaliation for him? None? I'm sorry. I've known too many teachers. Teachers really don't like it when kids show them up. And hey, it's a learning experience for you. This should be a great time to make friends with this kid and be like, you know what? I was wrong there, and teach him that even adults can be wrong from time to time. You were right on that. I should have known better, or I should have asked more questions. Nah, this kid's going to get D's when he deserves B's at least. Thank you so much. The mom should sue them bitches for all they're worth. Well, right now, she probably can't because they did allow the kid to go back to school. If he gets kicked out of school, I hope the fuck she sues him. If they tell him he can't come with that patch on, I would just say then he can't come because he's gonna have that patch on his backpack, and that is you guys violating his First Amendment rights, which again, upheld by SCOTUS repeatedly. And any lawyer worth his salt working for that school district would be like, settle now, do it now. All that missed work, they're going to fail. Oh, yeah. Because they even talk about this and how they don't want him missing class. And she's like, yeah. You obviously want him missing class. You got him kicked out of fucking school for a patch. Oh, he could just take the patch off. Fuck you. There's nothing wrong with it. Again, he did have some that had like, there's one that had look, I'm not great with arms, but it looks like an M16. That one's been taken off his backpack. There's one on his backpack that he's wearing right there, which is a St. Michael Protect Us patch. And it shows a a gladiator with a sword, which is technically a weapon, I guess. So you can say, okay, you can't have that. But the Gadsden flag, there's nothing. There's none of that shit. None of it. By the way, he also has the Dogecoin dog, which is awesome. It's funny. But this is just nonsense, man. This is fucking retarded. And the fact that they did this to this kid and that none of the educators involved, not one of them, knew what the fuck they were talking about. That they came in its origins in slavery. The closest you can come to saying that this has its origins, I'm using big air quotes, in slavery, is that Christopher Gadsden, the guy who designed it, was from South Carolina, which was a slave state. So I'm just saying. And no, that's not a warrior. That's St. Michael. I mean, he's clearly going to war there. I would call St. Michael a warrior in that case. But yeah, it's nonsensical, man. And these are the ones. Hey, we're the ones that are supposed to. You guys don't know shit. You're just parents. What do you know about teaching children and especially what they should be taught? What do you know about what they should be taught? Well, apparently more than you. I'm a high school dropout and I knew the Gadsden flag. How the fuck did you not know it? How did you not know that comes from the Revolutionary War, not the Civil War, you fucking retard? Oh my God. And especially to use the word origin. You didn't even say it's association. You know what I mean? You didn't even say it's association with white supremacy. No. It's origins in slavery. Those are her exact origins in slavery and the slave trade. Her exact words. She helps get to pick what your children learn. So yeah. Anyhow, that happened today, and hopefully this kid. I mean, hopefully the mom gets confirmation in writing from the school because she has that one, you know. But if they did call her back, she needs to get that in writing that they say until a student or teacher objects, or what was it? Until they report it, until it's reported. There we go. And then if it is reported that they sue the shit out of these people because this is fucking retarded. It's absolutely retarded. I can't believe these are the people that say, hey, you don't get to teach, you don't get to decide what kids are taught. Well, how about just, history? Actual history. This is a teacher who sat in a room with a student with his mother present, and thank God recording, and told him that flag has origins in slavery and the slave trade. Fuck off. Christ almighty. If I was that parent, I'd be like, look, this is the only time we'll do it, but if you want to get that tattooed on you somewhere, we'll do it. We'll put it on one of your arms. Snubbers, what's up? Thank you so much for the donation. Read the recent note. 3. Apparently enough people complained about the endings. They are fleshing out the epilogues. Oh, cool. I still haven't got to the ending, so I'm not sure what the ending is, and I haven't watched anybody do it either because I'm still going through it. But I mean, I don't know. I still think the original ending to Mass Effect 3 was fine. I think too many gamers want their happy fucking endings or everything spelled out for them. I want it like a Marvel movie. Shut up. Anyhow, that's not nice. That's not nice. Moving right along here. Yeah, fuck these teachers, man. I'm so tired of this shit. And these are the people. Oh my God, can you believe they yelled at us during a school board meeting? Yeah, I can, because you guys are fucking stupid. You guys are fucking ignorant. Speaking of fucking ignorant, I said I'd try to get to this one if I remembered. This is a comment that was left on the original post. This guy says, it's a charter school. The parents choose to send him there. They don't like the policies. They can choose to send him somewhere else. All right. Okay. One, it's still a public school. Um, and if that's the public school board's policy, you fucking retard, then it's the policy for the whole board or for the whole school system. Uh, ha- I just want to make sure I got this right. The violation of a child's First Amendment rights, which has been upheld by the Supreme Court, what you should do, don't fight that. No. Nah, don't fight. Just send your kids somewhere else. As you can see, I asked him if he was retarded because that's the only thing that makes sense to me in that scenario. You could choose to send him somewhere else. This is why I'm not the biggest fan of the idea of homeschooling. I know a lot of people are. But homeschooling to me sounds like running from the problem. One, not everybody can homeschool. Sorry, guys, it's just not possible. A lot of people are two-income families. Mom and dad don't have the time to be doing a 6-hour school day in addition to going to work every fucking day. But even if you could, it doesn't fix the public school education system. What you're basically doing is going, all right, we'll have some of the people educated properly, and the rest of these fucking retards we'll just leave to fester. Well, the problem with that is those festering retards eventually get to vote too. Who do you think is going to outnumber each other? Do you think there's going to be more of the festering retards or the homeschooled kids? The problem is not with where they're taught. The problem is with what and how they're taught. And that needs fixed. And running from that problem doesn't fix it. Great. You insulated yourself. All right. Now what? These are the kids that'll be voting in that kid's case, 11 years. That's not that long away. So the rest of the kids at that school should be taught stupidity. That's all right. That's not going to affect him. He can go somewhere else. Anyhow. Yeah, so I don't believe in just running from the problems. I think that's the wrong way to go. If it's bad enough, yeah, absolutely pull them out. But at that point, you should still be fighting to make that school district better. You can't just bury your head in the sand and go, everybody just leave. Because a lot of people can't. And so all you're doing there is making sure that we have a nation of at least 2/3 retards. All right. Bullshit. Have a dragon mom and dad. They would come home and school me another 4 hours. And that's great for you, Richard. How many people have that? Thank you, Snubber. I had to go to hell before the township would consider transferring me to another school. It was locked by proximity. One high school within 120 miles from one in the country. Wow. Yeah, that's even further away than the ones here. Yeah. School choice here wouldn't matter. Because your choice is go to the school that's close to you or drive your kid to school for half an hour every day if you're lucky. That's a one-way trip to the closest high school, half an hour away. That or you could go to the one that's in town here, which is like from me, I think 5 minutes. Schools must respect parents. Yeah, we need to stop allowing the school boards to be so insulated from all the bullshit. I mean, they get to make up all the rules, and parents are looked at as terrorists for standing up to it. That should never be the thing. They're supposed to be for education, not indoctrination. And what we're seeing, especially these days, man, they don't even give a shit about education anymore. Not even a little bit. Look at the reasoning they gave for that flag not being allowed. It wasn't the actual historical context of it. The furthest back they went in history was 2016. 7 years. 7 years ago to a political article. In Alabama, is the homeschool teachers hot a deciding factor? Maybe. It's much more likely in West Virginia, though. I'm going to convince you guys. West Virginia is the hotbed of incest in America. Y'all are so mean to Alabama. And I'm not saying they don't do that down there, but that's more of a cousin marrying state. Where in West Virginia, man, them siblings, they've been married a long, long time. All right. Where are we right now? What is this here? Oh, for the record, I have not looked into this, so I don't want to repeat it as fact. But reportedly, Sweden has placed strict limitations on the gender affirming care of 14-year-olds after it came out that this is going to shock those of you who've listened to the show for a long time. Come out that puberty blockers are leading to things like osteoporosis and spinal fractures in children. Where have we heard that before? Where have you guys heard somebody talk about the bone problems that pop up with these puberty blockers? Those drugs that they give the kids? Yeah. And they'll tell you this. What's the name of that one? Lupron? That's the most common one. Lupron, like, oh yeah, there's some bone loss, but as soon as you're off of it, there's no more problems. No more problems. Before we get into this again, I just want to remind you that the article that I'm going to be talking about had nothing to do with trans rights. The article that I'm talking about with this puberty blocker, the same one that they use for this, it was not used to stop girls from going into puberty because they might want to become boys. It was to prevent puberty so that they would grow a little longer before puberty kicks in and they stop growing, or their initial or their final height is set. It was to try to help these short girls grow taller. That's what it was. And they found out that about a decade later, a whole bunch of them had. So remember, a decade later, we're talking early 20s. They had all kinds of bone problems, including osteoporosis, what's the other one? The smaller, the lesser form of osteoporosis. One chick's jaw just broke. It just broke. And they'll tell you, hey, if you take Lupron and you stop taking it, that bone density comes right back. Except it doesn't. It doesn't. Osteopenia. That's it. Thank you, Cynic. Not osteoarthritis. That's a different thing. It's just a weakening of the bones, and depending on the severity. But yeah, they're seeing osteoporosis in women in their 20s, which should not happen. That is not something that should happen. So apparently, in Sweden, they noticed this, that it's happening with the kids who are getting this for trans bullshit. And they're like, ooh, we're going to stop this. You can't have this shit except under very strict protocols until you're 18. Now, this is just from a tweet that I saw, so I don't know if because it says strict limitations on medical affirming intervention for minors. I don't know if that means you can't do it at all, right? But she's going to kill herself quick, make her bones useless. I don't know if there's none, but there should be none. You should not be giving kids Lupron to put off their puberty. Period. End of story. This goes beyond, at this point, it is beyond experimenting on kids. We already know what happens. We already know the fucking side effects. We already know. It's not in question. The only question is how long those side effects last. And even that is only if you're a fucking retard who refuses to actually look at what's happened to people. Reminder, the story that I bring up was not about anti-trans. Trans isn't mentioned in that fucking article one time. It was all about these girls who wanted to grow taller, and doctors were like, maybe if we put off their puberty, they will. So, yeah. The United States is one of the few countries that allows this basically on demand these days because it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And there was a meme from Gays Against Groomers on this one, which sums it up perfectly. sums it up absolutely perfectly. This has nothing to do with gender affirming care. It has to do with money. There's a shitload of money in this stuff. The longer you can keep those boys and girls on their puberty blockers and their hormone, hey, maybe we can even get them to get some surgeries they don't need that'll last a lifetime. They'll have to keep coming back to the doctor every couple of years to have another surgery that they never would have needed if they had just been allowed to go through puberty as normal. Understanding gender affirming care, right there. It's money. It's money. And they're abusing children to do it. And if you stand up against it, you're the bad one. Somehow you're the bad guy for thinking we shouldn't experiment on children, or worse than experiment on children. We're not even experimenting on children. We already know what this shit does. We watched that video the other day of the little boy whose mom dressed him like a girl. Remember that one? And will you love me if I'm a boy? Do you remember that video? Do you remember how it started? There's a voiceover going on. There's a voiceover going on about estrogen injections for this child. It's not even the Lupron. It's the estrogen injections. That's all they're talking about. And you know what it said? Make them sterile. Talking about making, and that kid couldn't have been 8 years old, maybe 9. Make them sterile at 9 so that mom can live out her fantasies of wanting to have a girl. Why in the ever-loving fuck would we give a child something they absolutely 100% do not need when the side effect is a pretty damn good chance of making them sterile? You're talking about a 9-year-old making a decision to never have children. Does that sound like something we should let them do? We don't even let them decide to smoke. Fuck. Not that I'm saying children should smoke. I'm just, your chances of getting cancer if you start smoking, even in 9, you're not going to get it till your 40s. By then, you'd already had your kids. You know what I mean? Again, not saying children should smoke. We're letting this child decide, yeah, sterilize me. And that's before you even get to puberty blockers. That's just the estrogen injection into this boy. You know why? Because boys aren't supposed to have that much estrogen in their bodies. In fact, if you do, they'll give you other hormones to fix it. It's a hormonal imbalance at that point. Fuck. It's not even experimenting. We know the results, and they're still doing it. And the only reason is money. There's a shit ton of money to be made in this. There's a shit ton of money in the psychiatric field to be like, yeah, he thinks he's a girl. There's a shit ton of money to be made in the psychiatric field or in the medical field. Yeah, he thinks he's a girl. And how do they sell it? How do they sell it? He might kill. Do you know how many of these people kill themselves? You don't want your kid to kill themselves, do you? They berate parents into this shit. They look at people like you and me and tell us we're the ones who don't care about kids. We don't. Yeah, you just want them to die, right? No. I don't want you to destroy their lives, though, either. And for all the talk, we talk about the 41%, right? 41% is the number of trans people. This goes back years. I haven't seen a more recent study, but that had seriously considered suicide. That's what it is. It's not the actual suicide rate. It was the suicide ideation rate. This wasn't actually trying to kill themselves. It wasn't actually killing themselves. It was just the ideation. And it's ridiculously higher than it is for gay kids, which is the gay community, which is like a 10%, and the overall society, which is like 4%. That's it. It's just the ideation, which should tell you not, maybe they really are a girl. It should tell you, maybe they have a mental problem. Maybe they have a mental issue. Maybe it's not that they have a wiener when they shouldn't have been born with one. I've seen studies suggesting it's now 46. I saw people throwing around 43 the other day. It doesn't matter because, again, it's all about ideation and not actual suicides. That's not to say we shouldn't take suicidal ideation seriously, but how about we get to the bottom of it? How about we get to the bottom of how many of these kids have depression, and even more importantly, why? Why? You guys notice how many transgender men, these are biological females, how many of them, if you see them talk on social media or something, got touched by somebody they shouldn't have? You guys, have you noticed that? It's a weird thing. It's almost like molesting children causes harm. Just saying. Anyhow, yeah. To me, it would not be so bad if we didn't already. Okay, it's still bad. I would still be against it. But I get a little annoyed at the people who are saying we're experimenting on kids, because we're not. This isn't about experimenting on them. Not even close. We know the results. This stuff has been documented for decades before it was used for the reasons it's being used for now. So it's not even experimenting. There's only one reason: money. Money and political clout. Those are, I should say that there's that one now too, because you have a whole bunch of people, Joseph Biden, getting up there telling us this country's with like founded on the trans people. No, they were just wearing powdered wigs, homie. It was the custom back then. A whole bunch of people were standing up for this shit, and they're doing it just for the political clout. You know why? Because kids are stupid and they'll get votes that way. It's true. It's the same reason we have the whole climate change hoax going on right now. The whole reason that the climate is going to keep being built up bigger and bigger and bigger, getting closer to 2024. Why? Because, well, look, even the Republican kids are like, what are you going to do about the climate going into 2024? Because they get them young people to vote. Although there was a great video that came out the other day. Do I have that? Da-da-da. It's another one, I mean, where we're not going to be able to hear much of it because, goddamn, some of y'all need much better audio on your fucking videos. But this climate group decided to hang out in the road. Oh, hang on. Jack, my friend, how are you?
I have arrived.
What's up, dude?
Nothing. I fell asleep.
Oh, is that what happened? I was wondering.
Yeah, I fell asleep at the computer. This big puddle of drool next to me, Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I'm trying to find the well, before we move off of what we were just talking about, we already covered the Gadsden flag.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
These people are stupid. I feel bad for that kid that he's got to learn from stupid people.
And we just talked about these assholes and how I don't even call it experimenting on kids anymore, Jack, because they know what the results are. They're just doing it for money and political clout. Any thoughts?
No, you're probably not wrong. I mean,
all right, fair enough.
I don't know.
I was looking for the video and now I can't find it. Maybe somebody sent it to me in my notifications. I'll have to check later. But some of these asshole climate people who got confronted in the middle of the DC highway the other day. Did you see this?
No.
Yeah, so they go ahead.
Oh, I saw one where they were sliding around on the hood.
No.
Oh.
These are like 8 people or so sitting down in the middle of the road, and a whole bunch of people who need to get to work, almost all of color, by the way, had enough of it. Had get the fuck out of the road. And they come over, they tear their signs away. One of the funniest moments in it is one of the climate protesters is recording, right? And this black guy, this clearly gay black guy. I don't mean to say it that way, but you don't see a whole lot of fat gay black guys. So it just jumped out at me. He comes over and he says, "Stop recording me. Stop." He goes, if you don't stop recording me, I'm going to smack your face off, or I'm going to smack that right off your face. And the guy goes, DC is a one-party consent state. That's the wrong argument to be making for recording in public. 2, your recording in public is not the same if you're talking about being on a freeway where everybody's supposed to be inside their car. By the way, he did stop recording him, even though he under his little it's a 2-party or 1-party consent state.
You're not wiretapping him, dude.
Yeah, he didn't call you on the phone, fucker. You're blocking traffic. But anyway, all of them ended up getting arrested, Jack, which is funny because the DC police, they weren't playing that day. They apparently normally they give these guys 3 warnings before they arrest them. They said, you're not getting 3 warnings. This is your only warning. Get off the highway. And they gave them about 10 seconds before they started arresting them.
Yeah, you ever been in DC traffic?
Never been to DC, so no.
Yeah, DC traffic is one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. I've had guns pointed at me before, and I was more scared in DC traffic. I shit you not. It was terrifying. People are psychotic in DC. The traffic is horrific on the freeways. I'm surprised nobody ran these idiots over. It's pathetic.
What I noticed about them was a distinct lack of young people. All of these people, every one of them has got at least a decade on you and me.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, they were like old people, like aging hippies were like, we finally got a cause again.
Sad.
Get out the fucking road. Just get out of the goddamn road. Look, you have your right to protest. Your right to protest is not in the middle of the fucking street. I'm just saying. Your right to protest is supposed to be, in a civil manner, a legal manner, and not on the goddamn road.
Yeah.
Go do it anywhere else you fucking want to. I don't care. But I'm tired of people like, hey, we have a right to protest in the road. What do you think about the January 6th, folks? Oh no, they shouldn't have been allowed to do that. Weird. Because one of you guys were actually putting other people in danger. Yeah, blocking traffic, bad idea, and we need to get back to getting rid of it. And what I propose, Jack, is a new kind of Department of Transportation truck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the ones that we use to clear snow. But instead of that nice blade, it's jagged and has a bunch of broken glass on it. And it just moves at about 5 miles an hour anytime there's one of these protests right towards the protesters.
I'd be okay with that as long as it sprays salt after one of them gets cut.
Oh, I wouldn't mind that either, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that would work, but I'm not a logistics kind of guy. I'm an idea man.
Hey, what's up, Adonis Paul? Oh, damn it. I was primed to talk about that. Oh, did you watch the video?
that video's been everywhere today. A lot of people talking about that poor kid.
Yeah.
I feel so bad that he has retards for teachers. They're not just hippies, they're retard hippies. And that's the worst kind of hippie.
My only problem with the video, and I don't know how you were with it, I would have to download all the videos, jack the sound way the fuck up so people could even tell what was being said. My volume was with like 25%. I usually listen to it about 6%, Jack, but just to be able to hear everything said. I don't. I mean, other than the fact that you have a bunch of retard teachers who clearly don't know history treading on this kid. I don't know what else to say anymore.
Yeah, but monkey, see that it's a slavery flag because the founding fathers owned slavery.
Yeah.
And that they created it. You know, it was invented by these evil rich white Americans.
Well, he was from South Carolina, Jack. So Christopher Gadsden, the guy who made the flag, he's from South Carolina. So obviously it was origins in slavery and the slave trade. What a fucking retard.
Look,
see, I'm going to start going off on again. How the fuck did not one educator in there know this?
Because they don't know anything anymore. They're too busy worrying about where their genitals go and how they can diddle the kids.
They kind of gave it away in the email that they wrote to mom, when all of their references, the earliest reference they have is from 2021. That's the earliest reference they have, and it's all news stories about how white supremacists have been using the Gadsden flag.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Grow up.
They're your standard Americans these days, man. Whatever's on the news is what they believe.
Yeah, and it's disgustingly sad.
They know. See, I don't think they do, AP. If you want to hang out again, let me know, because I don't mind having conversations like this. But AP says they know. They're afraid to tell the truth because the truth that the flag was not racist is offensive because it makes leftists wrong. I wish I believed you. I wished I believed you because, oh shit. Dude, I follow you on Twitter, right? Now I got to find him on Twitter. Give me just a second. I wish I believe you, and I'll have this. I'm going to wait to have that discussion until he gets here. But I don't think that's it. I really don't. I think what it boils down to, I have Adonis Paul live, but not. Holy shit! That we haven't talked since 2020 on that account. AP, what the fuck is your name over here?
I don't know if he's on there anymore. Shoot him a link on Discord. He said
on Discord.
Yeah, I don't know.
On Discord.
Yeah, his Twitter got hit.
Son of a bitch.
While you're looking that up, thank you, Keldrick. Listen, Jack, it'd be easy. All you have to do is rig it up like one of those universal spreader people use to spread salt on the ice and plant feed on their lawns. It's just real fine salt water, or lemon juice. Yeah, I know, but you'd have to put it on the front because you want it to be right after so they could experience that double joy.
Will you chat for just a minute? I gotta open my Discord and get this all set up. I'll be right back.
You do that. Rubbing alcohol would work better. I don't know. Like I said, I'm an idea guy. The logistics of it, I really don't care about. Mostly because I'm tired. He can't message you from his secret Twitter because it's not verified. Monkey needs to start using Discord more often than he does. No, fuck Discord. I hate Discord. It always fucks up my system. Every time I'm trying to, I think it uses too much RAM or something, but it always messes with my browser and makes it unstable. And it drives me up a wall. What's going on over on, see what's happening over here on the Rumbles. Oh, I don't have that one up. That's smart. I'm a good host. I know what I'm doing. Monkey's like, I leave this retard in charge of stuff. Hey, Bran. Jack got PTSD in DC traffic. Yeah, I kind of did. That was a horrifying experience. But through there a couple times, and the traffic is always like life or death nightmare levels. Better alternative to Twitter? I have no idea, dude. Atlanta traffic's fucked up. Yeah, Atlanta sucks. What a shithole. Why do all the planes get routed through there? It's a hub, blah, blah, blah. Why? Pick a better city. What a dump. Monkey, check your Twitter notifications for people saying hello and DM him. I don't have any problems, but I got 128 gig RAM. Oh yeah, that'll do it. I have a gray laptop.
I have my Discord open, but I don't know what your name is over here, AP.
Yeah, check your Twitter DMs. He's sending you from a secret alternative location of a cousin. I love the airport because they're always both always boot you control. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you can. At least it's, oh yeah, I'm not reading that eagle. His Discord is Adonis Paul 1916. Pound sign 1916. This was girl broke up there after visiting her hometown. There were tons of red flags. As you just did there. It's always nice when cousins let use their Twitter. Yeah, well, cousins are good people most of the time. Most of mine are kind of nuts, but it turned out one of them might actually not even be related to us. That was a whole ordeal. His dad tried to disown him and write him out of the will, and then said, "You're not my real kid." And then things got weird. So, yeah, family drama is fun. Yeah, I hate Atlanta for a lot of reasons. It's a shithole, and it's in the South, and a lot of southern cities are kind of dumpy. And then you have all the flights diverting through there for no fucking reason half the time. And the traffic sucks. It smells vaguely of urine, which reminds me of Europe half the time. It's like a European city got pooped right into the South. I'm going to offend all the Georgians.
All right, AP. It's telling me that it's not working. Fuck, now I got to find my name to send it. Son of a bitch. Da, 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 da. You keep talking. I'll be back eventually.
All right. I'm just rambling on at this point. The worst co-host. All right. I'm going to pull up a story here because, yeah. FBI is scrambling to track migrants who entered the U.S. with the help of ISIS-linked smuggler. The FBI is reportedly scrambling to find more than a dozen Uzbek nationals who sought asylum in the U.S. earlier this year after intelligence officers discovered they traveled to the southern border with the help of a smuggler who has ties to ISIS. Officials are working to identify and assess all of the individuals who gained entry into the country, the National Security Council spokesman Adrienne Watson told CNN. They're also scrutinizing a number of migrants as possible criminal threats. No. What? Criminals coming over the southern... That's just a crazy idea. Two unnamed federal officials told the news network, but authorities say no specific ISIS plot has been identified. They're just Uzbekis. I mean... God, these people are fucking idiots. There's no indication or remains no indication that any of the individuals facilitated by this network have a connection to a foreign terrorist organization or are engaged in plotting a terror attack in the U.S., Watson asserted. Yeah, it's nothing to see here. Authorities say the migrants requested asylum at the border with Mexico earlier this year and were screened by Homeland Security, who rubber stamped it and then said, okay, here's your free shit. Have fun. None of the intelligence community databases raised any red flags. That means zero to me, less than zero. And they were all released into the U.S. pending a court appearance. A court appearance in like 3 years, probably. It was only later that the FBI learned of a smuggling network helping Uzbeks into the U.S., which involved at least one individual with ties to ISIS. So they've been doing this for a while, and you just cracked the code. Nice work.
Okay, AP, I dropped mine in there. Friend me, damn it. Anyway, so we're not taking care of criminals anymore?
Why would we do that?
Just a thought.
You can't be mean to thoughts.
Thank you, Alan, for the donation with no message. And Retro, thank you. Monkey, email AP. I just saw that he said that I You have to realize that I'm not always looking at everything.
Monkey, look at chat. What? Who'd
Well,
you
but
murder while you were sleeping?
You can't give me shit for not looking at chat when I've literally been ignoring the stream so I could try to get Discord working properly.
It doesn't have to make sense. I could give you shit for whatever reason. You gave Jim a heart attack.
I had nothing to do with that.
Really? I'm pretty sure you slept on August 1st.
Maybe.
See? Ergo,
that's
one
not
plus
necessarily
one
true.
Monkey tried to kill Miniker.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah, well, it doesn't
There's
have
lots
to
of
make
times I
real
don't
world
sleep.
sense. Yeah, I know, but it's still funny.
AP, it's in your DMs. Or sorry, in your email. Now, this conversation better be good after all that. Jack, I need to back out of this screen for just a second. It's all frozen up and I need to fix it. I'm not leaving. I'll just be right back.
Okay. After these messages, Monkey will be right back. Yeah, Bob Barker. You're right. You're right, Assassin. I mean, the monkey killed Bob Barker. Yeah, we all know it. He just doesn't want to admit to it.
There we go.
The number of things that your Discord name is gone now. I don't know what that means, but I don't really care about Discord. Dance for us. Nah, I'm good.
There he is.
Oh, I really hope this was we have the best conversation ever after all that buildup, man.
It needs it, doesn't it? How you been, man?
No joke. Pretty good. Pretty good. Internet's crapping out tonight. I'm hearing that you're having the same problem, so maybe we live in the same neighborhood.
That's for me every night, dude.
Well, it's getting. You have Charter Spectrum?
Dude, I have 3 shitty internets and none of them are as good as cable.
Yeah, I've got. I'm talking to you on my using the Wi-Fi on my Verizon phone, so we'll see how this goes. Oof. So far, so good. I did my show on it.
Yeah, you're coming through really good. So, hell,
you only had a couple problems on the show tonight. It wasn't that bad.
It was still. I mean, you know how it is when you're streaming and your internet goes out. It's the most frustrating thing ever. It makes you want to pull your hair out. Luckily, I don't have that problem.
You know,
that's because chat constantly tells you, like, dude, your stream died.
Yeah,
your stream died. Yeah, I know. I'm working on it. All right,
you're not
helping.
You have to let everybody else in the chat know that you're getting the waitings, you're getting the buffering screen by putting.
Right.
Why do they even add that? Get rid of that emoji. It's useless. Everyone's seeing it. We all know.
The fact that emoji exists enrages me, actually.
Yes.
Well, what's funny about it is if I'm watching somebody stream and they're having issues, I don't think it's shit. That shit happens. If it's me, I get physically angry.
Yes. I'm embarrassed. I'm angry. Yeah, it sucks. And I have nothing but Charter Spectrum to blame. And soon I'll be on fiber optic with much better speeds. And I can say, fuck this company.
Yeah, Spectrum sucks balls.
Yes. Jackie ain't lying, buddy. So it's good. I really want to get here by the time I saw on my show you were talking about this kid. And I told the audience, I'm like, I'm going over to Monkeys. And I'm going to be like, let me on. No pressure, fucker.
Well played.
I believe the teacher knows factually this is correct. That the Gadsden flag is from the Revolutionary War. She didn't know when she was saying it to the mother, but she knows that. She knows when the mother countered her that the mother was probably right. The fact that this kid was so primped and ready for school and had the grease in his hair, I think this is a setup, to be quite honest with you, to see if this would happen. And if it happened, this kid was told what to do. But nonetheless, I'm glad they did that because it exposes a very important issue. That these leftists, they don't care what the truth is. The fact is that if this teacher goes back to whoever had a problem with it, or even if she's the one with the problem with it and says, hey, I've got good news for you. It wasn't racist shit. This kid doesn't want you and your family to die and be put in chains and shackles and slavery to come back. It's a Revolutionary War flag. It's anti-British 1774. So unless you start speaking with an accent, good news. There's no problem here. They would find that offensive because even if it's predicated on a lie, you're not allowed to invalidate the perspective of a leftist.
And
yeah, I hate that you're probably right on that.
I will agree. My objection to what you said, though, was that she knew. I bet even at this point, maybe she's finally went and looked it up, but I doubt that she agreed with mom, because you have to remember, these are people who think that they're smarter than you are.
Yeah.
I went to school to educate kids. What have you done?
Oh, she's going to dig her heels in every time, because you're not just her ideological enemy. You're not somebody that she just thinks is misunderstood. You're somebody she hates. It's a moral superiority I haven't seen since religion.
Yeah, this really is a very religious type mentality, because these people are cultists. They're part of a weird genital mutilation death cult that wants to control everything, and it's all about them. It's a narcissistic death cult.
They figured out how to swing any argument to perspective. And when you can do that, there is no fact.
I want to bring this back up on the screen. I talked about it earlier. This is the email that was sent regarding the dress code that was forwarded to Miss Rodriguez. And it gives the rationale. And it lists 4 different articles that say it shows it. One of them is from 2016, and that they cite this, even though in this EEOC case, it was found that, there was nothing racist about the flag. Their second one is a Oregon Live article about January 6th.
Written by, I'm sure, a very credible journalist, not some fucking overinflated blogger.
Sure. Of course.
Is it on Medium? Is it a Medium link?
Yeah, is armed liberal writing again? Is this one of his?
It's almost as bad.
Check and see if they were exploiting children in that article, and if they are a Mexican white supremacist group.
Almost as bad. Coming for you. Oregon Live, y'all. So
Oregon Live. Yeah, it's from Oregon. Yeah, discredited. I'm sorry. You're anywhere near Portland, you have no standing with reality.
It's a double-edged sword, but I'm almost that anyone can be a journalist allows the government not to control the journalism. On the other hand, when anyone can be a journalist, they do shit like this, and they're like, it's credible, it's a fact, I have a citation. And I'm like, you have a citation from some 23-year-old college student writing a blog.
Yeah, that's like saying I have a citation on Bigfoot. Okay, right? Dude, sure.
Someone wrote it on the internet. He's real. It says right here on this link.
Yeah.
The only thing I know Oregon Live has ever gotten right, they did on accident when they were accidentally filming the rioters of 2020 trying to burn down the federal courthouse there.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I missed
whoops. And
I keep wondering why that's not an insurrection.
Because look, just because it was a federal building, they keep moving the goalposts when you bring up the 2020 riots. Like, well, but federal property, like this was federal property, but it wasn't a presidential. Fuck you.
Because they were righteous in their indignation and anger. When you're righteous, you are always immune from criticism. I
think it's because it's not their fucking front yard. That's why they don't care. We watched our cities burn for a fucking year. They got a little baby taste of that where nothing was set on fire and people just took selfies for an hour, and it was too much for them.
Somebody moved a podium, goddammit.
Yes, they were outside of the rope lines.
People were being a little bit of a dick. Yeah, I think people were being some dicks.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, we have to stop the show to say hi, Nuts. Anyhow,
Stargazer.
If you look at the fact that that's one of the links that they brought up, will tell you what this is all about. None of the links that they provide here are older than 2016.
Yeah, because if they go any further back, they're going to hit reality like a ton of bricks, and they can't do that. They have an agenda. This was a struggle session. The fact this got recorded was purely unexpected.
During the Great Meme War, the Gadsden flag came up quite a bit. That's when I don't know how much you guys saw it growing up. It wasn't like a big thing.
I grew up in Texas, growing up. Dude. It was everywhere.
Well, you're from Texas. That doesn't count.
Yeah. Hey, what the fuck?
You guys are still killing Mexicans in the name of the Alamo, so.
My cat just chased my dog into the room. She's headbutted the door open and shit. Hold on, I got to actually close my door.
Nice.
I thought that was
you got your ass kicked, didn't you? What did that cat do to you?
Don't you have a big dog?
Kitty cats have sharp claws, dude.
I don't know. I don't know how animals work. Only dog I hang around is a Chihuahua Terrier, so.
When we used to have our dog, he wanted desperately to play with my kitty cat.
They're just playing. That cat's been that dog's brother since that dog has been here and she was a puppy. So they're just having sibling time, I guess.
He He wanted to play with her. She wanted nothing to do with him, and he chased her one day under a
no.
chair.
Oh, I
And
thought you were telling me that's what happened in my house. I'm like,
no,
sir.
my house. And he stuck his nose under that chair. It was the last time he wanted to play with that cat because she swiped the fuck out of his nose. And he's like, all right, bitch, don't want to play.
Sometimes you have to learn that way.
Sometimes you got to learn.
They want to stick that big face in everything. Kitty cats don't communicate that way.
They're like, it's gonna eat me.
Don't tread on my patch. Don't tread on anything. You're gonna get stepped on and or you're gonna get bit. The whole thing with that flag, it does need pointed out. I don't know if you guys saw this. The audience that already watched part of the show knows this. There were patches on his backpack that violated the rules. There was one with like a gun on it, and you're not allowed to have guns. And fair enough. But the flag itself, that is a clear First Amendment issue that SCOTUS decided on way back in the fucking 60s when it comes to schools.
And they didn't in this video that we watched, they didn't bring up they didn't bring up the gun. What got me is they said, what's the problem with the Gadsden flag? She said, well, it's history with slavery, and that's our policy is nothing with, we're not going to glorify slavery. So then she's told, well, it's a Revolutionary War flag. It's not a Civil War flag, so it has nothing to do with slavery. Her response is well, that's just our policy. No, you said your policy was predicated on it being a Confederate symbol, and it's not. Therefore, it doesn't fall under your policy. She cannot explain herself. It's an ideological battle happening in that room. It has nothing to do with truth. Like I said before, they turn everything to a matter of perspective, and then nothing can be proven true or not. In this case, if they really had to argue it, I bet you they'd say something like, well, slavery did exist back then, so a lot of the symbols and a lot of our leaders back then are connected with slavery. But in their case, that wouldn't work here either, because Benjamin Franklin is the one who inspired that flag from the join or die flag that came before that. Yeah. Right. So he was an urban northerner in Pennsylvania. He was not a fucking slave owner. He likes to fuck a lot of French whores, but that's a damn sight from owning slaves. That's just renting French women. Nonetheless,
it's dirty.
They don't have a leg to stand on with this fucking slavery argument. It's not about that. It's about anything patriotic, anything pro-America is wrong to them. They are anti-American leftist scum.
Yeah, for the record, I want to show their email, or not their email, their message that they sent home to all the parents. Dear Vanguard families, last week a student came to school with patches affixed to his backpack with half a dozen patches depicting guns/weapons and one referencing alcohol. Now, we saw the video. I put it in the chat because, again, guys, I can't play it for you. You're just not going to be able to hear it. God, the audio sucks on it. But none of that shit is brought up during that conversation. There's no talk of guns. There's no talk of an alcohol patch. It is literally just about this flag.
Yeah, we see the teacher walk in too, because I'm thinking to myself for a moment, maybe they discussed all that and then turned it on and edit it to where when they're talking about the flag. Nope. But we watch the teacher walk in and say, okay, the reason we're here today is because of the flag and what they're doing now, they're reaching for anything because the governor of Colorado, did you see that? The tweet from the Colorado governor? He even said it's obviously not a pro-slavery sentiment. Maybe this would be a good teaching moment. Like it was kind of toxic positivity, sarcastic, because he really can't criticize the left either. They put him into power. God, I wish I could. I'll Google his name. Why would I know who the governor of Colorado is? I just saw in passing.
I should know his name. I hear it quite often. We have people from Colorado in our chat who hate the fucker. Discipline flatulence. Thank you so much. Ask AP because I need to know. Was John Blackthorn's Wi-Fi? What the fuck? Kimono, a premonition of Asia's technological stranglehold on the American economy.
Was John Blackthorn's Wi-Fi kimono
yes.
a reflection of Japan's stranglehold on the economy? Well, I'd have to say no, because Shogun took place in the 1400s. If you're talking about foreshadowing, I'm not really sure.
Premonition is the word they used.
I would say no, because Blackthorn was a British man on a Dutch ship. So simply, unless you're just saying the white man, but the white man would also imply Europe, not just America. So I would have to say no. I would have to say that it would be a foreshadowing of Japan's refusal for a very long time until the Imperial Japan era to I don't know. I'm making shit up, dude. Look, hey,
That's fair.
I don't think so. I think that this question was just a reference to Shogun because somebody knew I liked Shogun, and
Fair enough.
there you
Wait,
go. Yeah,
The TV miniseries Shogun?
yeah. That shit
Oh,
was
okay.
great.
Yeah.
That book was great. There's
Yeah.
there's a better book written in the Asian saga actually called Taipan, written by James Clavell. If any of you guys read or whatever, check it out. It's a great book.
For the record, if you guys donate to me, please do it in all caps. I'm having an eye issue. I finally did get a doctor's appointment, Jack. I go see them in the middle of
Took you
September.
long. Oh, yeah.
But-
That's helpful.
It is very hard for me to read anything right now. So if I screw up your super chat, just do it in caps, and you got a much better chance of it being read properly.
You know that thing that every other person has screamed at you for since the beginning of the internet? Monkey saying to do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. This is your one time.
Yeah, you get a free caps pass. Real quick, thank you, Alan, for the donation. He says, Jack, thank you, Alan. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well.
Wow, nobody in my audience, and I've talked about these books before, has ever been like, I've read Taipan. It's like 3 people out there like, Taipan was great. It was much better than Shogun. Yeah. Wow, you're my fucking people. Subscribe. Show up in the goddamn chat. What are you being quiet over there? You're making me...
Look, I keep telling these people, if you're not watching AP, you should be. Absolutely.
I
Go
read
subscribe.
Shogun in high school, along with the Blue and the Gray. I never read Taipan. I've seen it, but I've never read it.
It's much cooler. Much cooler.
Oh man. Any other thoughts on this thing other than the fact that our school boards are run by retards?
No, this is good.
I think the problem starts in academia. And
absolutely.
I think that when you control academia, you control what the truth is. You control the citations that are put out there when people are proving they're right. And academia, just like any other nepotistic, people that have nepotism between them, they're going to back each other up every fucking time. They have a moral superiority complex. They believe they're better than you, smarter than you. And but they've let go of truth. And it's really social media has done this to us. So, it's been the rise of the casual asshole. It used to be this much of an asshole to somebody else, you had to be willing to take a punch in the fucking face. You had to have some fucking conviction to be this type of asshole when I was growing up. But now every casual asshole out there can say whatever they want to whoever they want and affect what change on whatever they want because nobody is punching anyone else in the fucking face, monkey. And I think that's what this really comes down to is more face punches. Don't kill, don't maim, but just if we could make it a ticket to jack someone's fucking jaw, make it just a ticket, not assault. Just make it a ticket. And I promise you, a lot of these problems will go away. You can go knock on, somebody on the internet's going over the line. You drive to their house, casually knock on their door. You let them know you're invoking the jaw jacking amendment. Bring them outside. You fucking break their fucking jaw. And if they still want to talk that shit after that, well, then you earned it. You have the conviction of a true asshole. Go out there and be the biggest asshole you want. But I don't like the amount of assholes who aren't willing to have their asses kicked that are running around saying stupid shit on the fucking internet. Because when me and you were growing up, these people would not have a non-ass kickable platform to run their fucking mouth on. I don't like it, monkey.
I think you're partially right on that, but I think it's even more than that. And part of it is the rise of social media because they've banded together to the point where you can never do anything to them. Doesn't matter what they've done to you. You can never, don't even retaliate. I guarantee you, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. Yes. It's just going to happen that way.
I'm not, like these not even like because we're tough. It's just
no.
I hit you back.
Fuck, I might get my ass kicked in the process, but you're going to feel it at least once. But you have these assholes who they have no repercussions. I mean, me and Jack have been talking about this for like the last week. There's no repercussions for the stupid shit they say and do. None. Not even societally. Not even shaming. Fuck it. They get something ridiculously wrong. They just move on to the next ridiculously wrong thing. It doesn't matter. They just keep going.
You should be kind of afraid to piss off millions of people.
You should be.
You should be. If you're thinking about doing or saying something that's going to piss off millions of fucking people, you should be afraid to do that. It shouldn't be, well, I should be able to say freedom of speech means I should be able to say whatever I want to as many people as possible, and there be no repercussions. I'm sorry, that's not what it means. You can still get your ass kicked. It just means you won't go to jail.
I was thinking, fucking Joe Scarborough talking about that idiot yesterday. He's got a great example of this because there was a video going around. There's so many clips of him getting shit wrong all through COVID, all through the Russian thing. All this motherfucker just gets stuff wrong constantly.
Oh, you're ruining Morning Joe for me.
And then
you know how much background noise in my house in the morning was filled with Morning Joe while I was doing other shit and working on stuff just because it was on? Come on.
Have you ever paid attention to the stupid shit he says?
No, because if I wasn't up on a fucking ladder, I would change the channel, monkey.
Oh, there you go.
That's how Joe Scarborough ends up on your television.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Unless you're an intern and then you have a head injury in his office.
Or you work at an airport. Ugh.
No. That he was nowhere near the scene of that murder accident thing.
Yeah, total
He
accident.
totally wasn't banging her. Oh man, but there's no repercussions for being wrong.
There's no consequences for anything anymore. You could lie, if you're an FBI agent, you can lie to a judge and you get a slap on the hand. If you're a teacher, you got the union backing you up. There's no consequences for anybody anymore if you have the correct politics.
Here I do feel like teacher, real quick. You have a teacher on video, absolutely 100% wrong about what she said. Any repercussions for her?
No, why would there be?
None. She just gets to go back to teaching kids incorrectly, I promise you.
I think it's 50-50. I think it's 50-50. She's been a pretty big embarrassment over the last 24 hours. I've seen people fired for less, but I also say this is Colorado, and I've lived in Colorado. It's pretty crunchy there. This is Colorado Springs of all places. So you very, very well might be right that they're just going to be like, we're just going to use this as a learning lesson. You know what would happen if we had a similar issue back when I was in middle school in 1994, and it really became a big deal? You know what the school would do? They'd say, guess what? Leave your fucking politics at home. Leave your movements at home. We're not going to have any flags or symbols or anything. If it's not the American flag or the state flag or the flag of our school district, it is not to be flown in this school, because we're not going to sow derision in our student body. Okay. We tried to let everyone fly whatever they want, and it turns out you guys aren't mature enough for that yet. So American flag, state flag, flag of the school district. That's what you get.
Yeah, that makes too much sense.
What's wrong with that?
You can't do that.
No, you can't do that. There's the pride flag we have to be able to fly.
That was my other question for the teacher on my show. Let me make sure there's no pride flags in your classroom. Maybe there better not be any pride flags on any of these backpacks or any Black Lives Matter flags. Because if you're saying patriotism is just, well, we don't want to forward an agenda here at the school. Oh, okay. Well, I want to make sure there's no other political agendas at play.
Well, remember their agenda specifically was slavery. Slavery, see, so Black Lives Matter didn't have slaves. Say.
Yeah. Well,
gotcha.
Well, I mean, you want to get
really
technical about
racism, though.
They did get a lot of people to do a lot of fucking stupid work for them for free.
Sure.
There's that, yeah. And they burned a lot of stuff down. Not necessarily crosses, but you know.
I wonder if you're allowed to wear a shirt with Malcolm X on it.
Yeah, probably.
Because that dude was a straight up racist. I wonder if you're allowed to wear a Che Guevara shirt.
Oh, you know you are. The teachers probably all own one.
Yeah, because that's revolutionary.
Yeah. They all want the communist revolution. They just don't want to live under a communist revolution.
The battle's on the status quo. That's what's happening. You know what these leftists truly believe? Anything that exists now should be torn down.
But there is a reason why they want it torn down, and I don't know how you feel about this, AP. I know me and Jack are pretty much on the same page. Because it's communist propaganda bullshit. That's where it comes from. Yeah, whether you're talking environmentalism, whether you're talking the separating everybody into little groups, that's just minor class warfare. Yeah. So that they can take over and tell you how to live your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it's class warfare. I say that on my show as well. I know you don't hear it because you're doing your show at the exact same time. I've never once watched the Ralph Retort when it was on at 10 o'clock. I get it. I'm not people, it's very easy to misinterpret someone as racist when they're not. I'm not, and I really didn't understand this until recently either. I'm not racist at all. I don't have a problem with my black neighbor who I barbecue with and watch football with, who works 12 hours a day, comes home, takes care of his family. He raised his kid right. He's a career military guy. No problem at all. I don't think that anyone based on their race or skin doesn't have the potential of other people. I hate leftists.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to give me everything for free. Crime is good. Everything that exists is bad. Everything white, evil. And America is white. We're all outsiders in this country that we were born in shit. You're not. You're an American. Step up to the table and take what's yours. Quit your fucking bitching and moaning. I really want, like the black community, I want you to be wealthy and successful. Step up to the table and take what is yours. You're acting like that you're an outsider in America, like you're some kind of fucking, like you're not. You're an American. Go to work. Go. You don't have to act like this. It doesn't have to be us against them with you.
And unfortunately, it's getting worse and worse than that because the propaganda bullshit is working. There was a article I read the other day about these new polls that came out that show white people tend to think that the problems with race in America are getting much better. And this was specifically about Martin Luther King's dream speech and how his dream is turned into a nightmare, but not the way that I would use that phrase, because I would say that because they've decided being colorblind, that's actually racist, which is fucking retarded.
Oh, that's
weird. And if you're going to do that, you can't begrudge people that were taught that their whole fucking life. I've spent my whole life being like, don't judge somebody just based on the color of their skin.
And that's what it should be. And instead,
now you want me to judge you.
I can see Pat in chat has black skin, so I know exactly what he's been through in life. No, I don't. I don't fucking know what he's been through unless he tells me.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Keldrick. Fun teacher story. My dad is retiring at the end of this school year. He announced it 3 or 4 years ago. It's been fun watching him approach the end as he becomes increasingly vocal about his disdain for the union. Yeah, a lot of teachers do that their last year because they got no fucks to give. Their paperwork's in and they're set. So they could be like, all right, fuck all of you people. I hate you. I had an aunt that was the same way.
That's where tenure backfires.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think tenure should exist for professors or teachers. You should be able to fire a motherfucker if they get out of line. I work here. We pay. I should be able to fire.
Yeah, tenure is just a very selective union. But no, did you guys see John Cougar Mellencamp on Bill Maher?
No.
He said that black people, 1% of them, maybe up to 10, he revised it later in the conversation, are better off now than they were during the slave times.
Oh, well, we've seen that shit come out of politicians' mouths.
Yeah, these people. A lot of the problem is these people are fucking retard parrots.
But that gets to what I was getting at. It shows it's like it was 58% of white people, 67% of Republicans. But then if you looked at black people, it was less than 30% believe that race relations have gotten better than in the 60s. You're retarded if you think that. You're just retarded.
I might need that explained to me. Now, I don't know any black people who haven't experienced some manner of racism.
Sure.
I think I've watched it fucking happen to my best friend in junior high and high school, like with some cops. I've watched it fucking happen. I didn't know that's what's happening at the time, but in retrospect, I'm like, oh yeah, those cops are fucking with him because he was black. But let's just back the clock up to 1968. Those cops would have beat the shit out of him just for having the nerve to hang out with me. And then let's back it up, 100 more years than that. And I would have been riding him to school. So I think it has gotten progressively better. He'd still been my friend. He would just live in a shack outside my parents' house. I'd just been like, take me to school, dog. He jumped on his back. Give me piggyback.
They would have beaten the shit out of you for hanging out with him.
Yeah. It'd have been just as bad for me.
Yeah, because how dare you talk to that Negro?
You know what's fucked up? Back then, I would have been one of those white people who's like, you can't treat black people like this. That's fucked up.
Yeah. But
and today I'm a Nazi. The same guy.
Because you and I were raised in the idea that color doesn't matter. And somewhere in the late 80s, this whole idea starts popping up that no, you have to. That's when your political correct shit comes up. And you have to start. And then that takes over for the next 2 decades. And now we are where we are 2 decades after that, where nothing is more important than race. Nothing.
And look, I'm not black, so I don't know what happens in the black community between black people. But it seems like if you don't follow the narrative that
Oh,
everyone hates you, you're a fucking traitor.
Well, so they like to use. There's a lot of people that I've seen that are from urban areas. You see this with white trash and trailer parks too.
Yeah, white people do the same shit with their little things when they don't want to take responsibility.
Yeah, the victim narrative is an excuse not to try because you might fail, and trying involves risk. Why do that when you could just scream, "I'm a victim"? And then you get all this sympathy, and people are like, "Oh my God, you're so right. Oh my God, you're a victim." No, it's an excuse. It's a lazy excuse. We all know it's an excuse. We're just not allowed to admit it. Also,
you can't address any real problems that are keeping communities down until you get rid of the victim shit that clouds it all. You cannot address any of the real problems.
Victim shit and the fatherless homes created by LBJ under the Great Society with welfare.
We talking about like the black community, the decimation of the urban industrial complex. What was a big issue? Yeah. The media that is sold to the black community is a fucking. It makes me sick.
It's an abomination.
The media, it's sold that here's what the media they're selling black people. Criminality and poverty are something to aspire to. Yes. Being a fucking woman who fights is a good thing for a man. And what I mean by that is they are teaching young black men that, like you said, 70% of them don't have a father in the home, to be like, hey, that's rap music. That's not real life. These people are thinking that the most important things in life are nice clothes, nice jewelry, and a nice car you can't afford. Before you've set any money aside, you have stability, a family, none of that fucking matters. That is being a bougie ass woman. Despite the fact these men can, I wouldn't say it to their face because a lot of them can fight. That's why I say women who can fight. But you're raising black men to be emotional women who can fight, who throw down at the... Men do not just fight at the drop of a hat because someone's looking at them funny. You know what a man says at Chuck E. Cheese? A man goes, you know what? I'm not going to prison because I'm going to beat the shit out of someone in a Chuck E. Cheese. I'm out of here. That's what a man does. Okay, yeah. A woman throws down in the Chuck E. Cheese with that girl talking shit to her. That's a big fucking problem that I see.
Even in that respect, I mean, that is a relatively new thing. The idea that black women got to be queens and nobody can talk to. How dare you talk to me? Look, I've seen many of your shows. How many videos have you watched of some fucking black woman losing her shit in an area that makes no fucking sense? It turning into fighting and people going to prison.
It's called honor culture.
Yeah,
and she's more worried about losing face for being considered weak than she is about the consequences for it. I'm willing to give up my entire fucking life to punch someone in the face in a Chuck E. Cheese because they call me a bitch under their breath.
Yeah, they got the Munjubu spiders on their head.
Now, hey, if what you see, we think you see a Munjubu spider, what I say is you want to get some wax paper and some duct tape and put around that individual's head. And if you smother the spider, it might let it. We're working on this. We saw it work on bot flies, so we've got a couple of nice ladies in the basement. We'll talk about that later. It's like a reverse ladies from Wisteria Lane thing.
I have a theory on that. That it's actually the weave itself that was cursed by an Indian woman, because you know what comes from India? Gypsies. And what are gypsies do? They curse people. I'm just making shit up. Just go with it.
All right.
Pat and Chad
tagged me and said, "I'm sorry, Adonis Paul. You tell me the closet full of Yeezys in my single wide doesn't make me a real man? No, man. I mean, no, it doesn't. The single wide is the problem. The Yeezys are all right."
Your boy Pat right above that said, "It's sad when Cardi B and Snoop Dogg are considered heroes and Tim Scott and Larry Elder are considered traitors." Oh yeah,
yes,
they're race traitors, man. How dare you be successful without robbing and doing a lot of dope?
Yeah.
All right, just look at this, though. When we talk about media, we've all seen 3 movies, right? We've all seen Baby Boy, we've all seen Boys in the Hood, and we've all seen fucking Friday. And your boy, Pat, I don't know if you knew this about white people. We've all watched those movies. Yeah. What happens when the main character gets caught by the authority figure in his home? I would say father, but Baby Boy is not really, Ving Rhames isn't really his father. In Baby Boy's case, he had just murdered a motherfucker. In the case of Boys in the Hood and Friday, they're about to take a gun out the house to go murder a motherfucker. What happened in all 3 of those movies? And then contrast that with what would happen if your father caught you with a pistol about to go out and start some shit in the neighborhood and kill another kid. In Friday and in Boys in the Hood, the father leaves the gun with the son after giving him a kind of talking to, and he has to make his own decision on whether or not to be a man. And in both those movies, he left the fucking house with the gun. In Baby Boy, he get a hug for killing somebody from Ving Rhames, who've been beating him up for the last 2 hours.
You know what's funny about that? When Boys in the Hood comes out, I'm living in a black neighborhood. You know what would really happen? Maybe South Central's different because I didn't live there. Any of my black friends, if they were about to step out that, even if they were stepping out the house to just go fight somebody, their dad would have whipped their ass. That ain't worth fighting over, boy. Sit your ass down.
The friends that I knew were like that too. Their dads raised them. They had a
Fuck
family
yeah.
in the home. I'm talking about like in the like when I say like the urban black, I mean like these fools in the hood. They ain't got no family or nothing. I mean like the people in the suburbs. That's a whole different creature.
No, we're not talking
Suburb
suburbs.
people are just suburb people.
We ain't talking suburbs.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
I just want to make that distinction. Like,
Well,
like yeah, no, I mean,
point
I know a
here
lot of really
is
cool black people, but I'm not
a
when
lot
I
of
go
it-
downtown, I don't see them.
a lot of this shit is partially media driven. I mean, whether we want to admit it or not, society takes cues from media. We absolutely do.
You remove 70% of the fathers from the fucking home.
Yeah.
And then
this is
all you
this
have
is what
is
they're
media.
taught.
We got white kids that look at Dragon Ball who have learned more about masculinity from Dragon Ball Z characters than they've learned about from their fucking fathers. And it's really starting to come out now in 2023. Now that has matured.
Retro says, but they got no dads anymore. And you know what? That's fair too. You know what their moms would have done? Their dads were actually the nice ones. Mom would just straight up whip them. Boy, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that has been lost too. As they're out there raising the next group of thugs. Oh, you're racist. No, they're raising thugs right now.
Okay, I have to grab a super chat.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Tyrai. These people hope they would be put in places of leadership if their secular religion successfully is put in. Yeah, communism, secular religion, it fills that hole. The problem.
I'm sorry. I thought you paused. Thought you were done.
The problem: communism has no grace for mistakes, and all perceived wrongs mean bad news. Yeah, you could. There's no redemption arc. That's a religious thing, mostly Christianity, some Judaism, but yeah, there's no redemption under the modern communist mentality because you're violating the utopian rules. Also, Tyrai said they sent you a chat, StreamYards or Streamlabs thing, AP.
I'm really bad about being on shows with other people. Do them by myself. Me just screaming when shit comes to mind. So
no shit,
I
man,
really do. Virgie G says Vegeta never let me down like my father did. The funniest thing about what he's saying right now is I was about to end that joke I just made with. Do you know anybody who's a big fan of Vegeta? You know what that means about them? They don't have a fucking father. Every time, at 100% of people who are like Vegeta is my favorite character are men without fathers. Who needed to picture someone kicking them in the fucking ass to get up and go to work. And all they had, because they didn't have a father, was all their Animus cartoons. So that's what they had to pull on. I understand. I did the same thing with Rocky Balboa because I come from a world before we looked up to cartoons, which is ironic for me to say.
Real quick, two things in chat that were said. Your boy Pat says, because black entertainment only teaches violence and degeneracy now,
and poverty.
Which also leads into Tailfin, who said, brings up, don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
that movie.
I've always got that movie on the ready.
Oh, I fucking love that movie. That movie displays just how asinine something like Boys in the Hood was. The father in there is based on the father in Boys in the Hood, and he's a complete degenerate scumbag.
I never really saw that. I was always wondering who his young ass father was. Like I know the father in Menace to Society he lived with his grandparents. And Boys in the Hood is the one where he gets dropped off with his dad. But I didn't think his dad was that young in Boys in the Hood. I remember the scene where he's like preaching on the corner about the white man and gentrification and shit.
In Boys in the Hood, his dad's not young. It's
that Malcolm X looking motherfucker, right? Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Fishburne, yeah. But this is a common theme through there is that, you know, they had the children when they, and I think maybe even in that one that they had him when he was very young still. When dad was young, mom was young, maybe even a teen birth. Don't quote me on that part. It's been a long time since I've watched that shit. By the way, that movie's garbage. Boys in the Hood is a shitty movie. It's not great. And that is
not well made.
That's an artistic take on it, not just the themes of the movie. It is a really.
I feel like Boys in the Hood is more of a that's our shit claim than it's a claim that it's a wonderful movie. You know what I mean? It was just one of the first mainstream movies about, you know, that gangster life in LA.
It is. 90s. And that one comes up, and that's where we see everything else spark from. And suddenly that becomes what all black people are in media. Did you see that in the Jeffersons?
Because
Did you see
another
that
group of
in-
people made a shitload of money off those movies. And once those people start making money, they're excellent at
Oh,
spotting
yeah.
business opportunities like that.
Go back
Give
and
'em
watch
rap.
Good Times. Go
Send
back-
Jerry to talk to Easy E. We can get 5 for the price of 1. You can't beat that.
God damn you. Go back
Even
and
if
watch
Ice Cube leaves, that's 4.
in Good Times. Michael and his dad before they kill off the dad character on that show.
That was sad. It's tragic.
And look how his dad treats him. There's never an excuse when, you know, he fucks up and is like, oh, it's not you, it's the white man holding you down. Like, bitch, what is your problem? There's an excellent scene, actually. Somebody brought up the Cosby Show earlier. There's a great scene in the Cosby Show where Theo is talking to his dad about his bad grades. And he gives him this long ass speech about how maybe you should just accept me for who I am. And then there's a pause for like clapping. And then Bill Cosby goes, boy, what the hell are you talking about? And just starts ripping into him for the bullshit he just tried pulling. But the bullshit he just tried pulling is what we've seen for the last 30 years.
I've quoted Cosby to my kid last weekend. I told her, you know, you're my child. I could kill you and make another one just like you. No one would ever know the difference. If I have to, I'll find another woman that looks like your mother.
Yeah,
I'm not, damn it up, Jesus Christ.
Mom used to pull the "I brought you into this world, I can take you out" line.
But even I just feel like, you know, media does influence people to a certain extent.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. I didn't believe when I was a kid because I wanted my Marilyn Manson and my fucking violent video games. Now as an adult, all right, fair enough. It does. But I feel like there used to be more of it used to be more about a positive image of the black community. You used to have even when it was some ridiculous shit like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or the Cosby Show, just a regular sitcom, but the mom's a lawyer, the dad's a doctor. Look, you could. And now when you're pulling, when you have a bunch of underperforming students in one of these schools that, you know, the black community in that is underperforming, you pull them aside and say, you can be whatever you want. The black kids in the school are underperforming. You get the black teachers telling that it becomes racist. You see that shit?
Yeah.
Recently?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you talked about that, but that's just, dude, you can't give a positive message to the black community because it's like you're going to make the thugs feel bad. And I'm like, who gives a fuck what them ignorant motherfuckers think? They're going to be ignorant motherfuckers on the street no matter what. But you could save some of these kids if you stop convincing them that the only thing they can be is a basketball player, an entertainer, or a drug dealer.
Well, when you're teaching them, when you're trying to push the notion of racial division, look, guys, dividing people is the easiest way. Divide and conquer. There's a reason that term exists. And the easiest way to get them locked into just voting, tell them what they want to hear. Nothing is your fault. Do you know how powerful that is to say to somebody? It's not your fault.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to try anymore.
No.
You don't have to blame yourself. If it's not you, you don't have to change anything. You're just fucked.
I used to run
got
into
his
this.
boot on your neck and there's nothing you can do. That's not true. That's being told to you by some crab in a bucket asshole that wants to keep you down with him.
I used to run into this all the time. When I was at Walmart, I had to do people's evals. And every so often you'd run into one who disagreed with it. And instead of them saying, well, here's what I did, what they go, but John isn't working that hard either.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'll deal with John's ass when it's his turn. But right now we're talking about you.
Did that work with your mom when you were a kid?
Right.
Why you pull that shit on your boss? Thanks for snitching. I'll get to him in a minute. That does not alleviate what you did.
Yeah, no doubt. Somebody once said, I think it was Steve Harvey of all people, that when you're coming up, you're going to have people around you, but they're not going to be the ones that stay with you because most people are going to stay where they're at because they have a loser mentality. And unless you change your perspective, you're going to stay down there with them. So you have to recognize that some people are just at a different point and some of them never go past that. And we keep teaching people that, no, if everybody around you is a loser, so are you. You're never going to succeed. Why try? Trying is the first step toward failure, as Homer Simpson said.
Yeah.
And that's what they teach is this collectivist attitude. It's not just that they're saying that, you know, white people versus black people. It's also saying you as an individual do not matter. If everybody around you is failing, you are predestined to fail because maybe you're just not good enough. Maybe you people just aren't good enough. It's an old clan talking point.
Also a matter of perspective and environment, because there are a lot of people who are growing up in homes where dad ain't there. Mom got pregnant too goddamn young. She's kind of a fucking hood rat still, not really a great mom, and then they come up and there's no role model to look up at. When I see looking up at my parents and my grandparents, and that had a lot to do with how I behaved, the things the core values I had about working, not breaking the law, staying out of fucking prison, shit like that. Some people don't have that fucking perspective. I mean, how many family members do you have to have in prison before you stop looking at prison as like a problem? Prison's a big deal to white people. Not only are we not sure we're going to come out of that bitch alive or with our booty hole intact, it ruins us for the rest of our fucking life. It's a big deal. Motherfuckers, I mean, when you got 30% of the population of your community who has, been in some felony aspect of the correctional system, you start to play by jail rules in real life. Like somebody steps on your shoes and disrespects you, you got to fuck them up. You don't really have to do that. You could be an adult. I feel like there's so much shit influence on the black community, and it's not me doing it, and we always seem to get the blame.
Faithless said, ironically, it's people like Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah Winfrey, and Michelle Obama telling black people they can't make it. Yeah, and in fairness, Michelle Obama, all she did was hump a black dude, but the other two absolutely succeeded in life. And I guess you could point to her husband and go, hey, black dude. It's amazing how many successful black people you'll see tell black people they can't make it in life.
They're pulling the leg behind them. You can't make it. I did because of fuck off.
I don't even think I think it's just pandering to what's supposed to be said these days.
Every time the Democrats want to make an excuse for some law hurting that you can never make everyone happy. So if the Republicans, look at voter registration or voter ID laws. Instead, they can't just say, well, this makes useless fucking losers. This makes it to where useless fucking assholes who can't even get a fucking driver's license or any form of ID makes it to where they can't go vote. They don't want to say that. So they just say, what about the black community? I think that's fucking insulting.
Oh, God. Ty Smith, for those of you who've still never watched it, Modern Renaissance Man here on YouTube. His video of as a black man trying to figure out how to get an ID is fucking wonderful. His video on trying to figure out how to use the internet after Biden said that black people don't know how to use the internet. Both of them are great. Look them up.
Yeah, I don't think we could show those because
no.
We would absolutely get in trouble for that.
He's black. He can make those videos. We are not. We cannot make those videos.
I don't think we want a dude with a monkey avatar playing those videos.
Not
just saying.
Some trouble.
Yeah, a little bit. No, the lowered expectations for people are so sad. It's disgusting how we've set the bar so low just to get by in life. People don't have aspirations anymore. They sit there and whine and cry and try and do nothing.
Leftists will be like, we need to lower the bar for him because he's black. Yeah. And that's somehow not the shittiest fucking thing in the world to say.
Oh, no. See,
that somehow makes you better than me, who was like, I want you to clear the same bar as everyone else because I respect you as a man.
I believe you can.
What? You're a monster.
That makes me the bad guy because I'm respecting someone as an equal. But then again, it goes back to they had to dismantle the things we were taught, like color doesn't matter. Treat everyone as an equal because you can't achieve supremacy with that attitude.
No.
And if someone wants more rights than you, anytime you find someone who wants special rights, special laws for them, more than you have protecting you, what they're asking for is supremacy. There is no other way to put it.
Trans community.
Hate crime laws are a form of supremacy.
Yeah, they absolutely are. We had in the 90s, we had two things that popped up that were predecessors to all we're seeing now. We had the push that Ebonics, it's just how black people talk. It is just their language. They can't learn proper English because they're black. And this came from a black man, okay? That's some racist shit to say that black people cannot learn proper English. And then the
It's not
other
even
one,
an accent. It's just literally the speech of the uneducated.
yes.
And I've never met a black person who made it through a halfway decent school outside of a super urban environment that bought into that shit out of just cope. So they could move through the fucking day, I guess. They're like, oh, thank God, we don't have to try to teach these fuckers English anymore. Was that what it was? Like the guys I know don't speak like, I mean, yeah, they might have a little, I'll be honest with you, they talk like black people sometimes, but they're not
But there's different ways
like
of
the hood.
speaking. I mean,
Yeah.
we
You
all
have to teach proper English. You know what I mean? So it's the common language we use.
when you're sitting around talking with your homies, maybe you drop the G when you're using an ing word, right? When you're at a job interview, you don't. And we all learn that, yeah, there's your hanging out with your friends, and then this is how you properly do it. And if you're going into a professional setting, that's how you want to speak.
I mean,
man,
rednecks have our own dumbass dialect too, but we don't try to pass it off as a language. We just like, oh, we're dumb rednecks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you run into some rednecks. There's some stuff, even as a white person, I'm like, what did he say?
I talk
did
about
not
this on my
catch that.
culture segments, man, where like I don't want the black community to be a joke.
No.
But when you have people coming out and like calling themselves black leaders and being like, twerking is cultural for African Americans, grinding on each other's shit is this is all cultural dance for us. I'm like, no, it's not. Well, look at Coming to America. Look how I'm like, Coming to America is not Africa, motherfucker.
No,
what is wrong with you? Like, it's just there was no kingdom of, what was the kingdom called in that movie?
Wakanda.
No, that was Black Panther.
In Coming to America.
Coming to America. He was
Um,
the prince of oh fuck. Remember he's Prince Hakeem.
Zimbabwe. It's
gonna be
kind of
on my
like
mind all night.
Zimbabwe, but not.
Somebody will get it. Zamunda.
Zamunda. There it
Thank
is.
God. Thank God Meg got it.
Zamunda.
I'm disappointed in you boy, for that.
Yeah,
I knew
these
Virgin
places don't exist.
Somebody got it. All right.
No, the other one was, did you guys ever see the Black Rage defense? That you should let a black defendant off no matter what they did, just because ancestrally they have this black rage built up from slavery and civil rights.
Post-traumatic slave disorder.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I respect you, and I think you can behave just like everybody else and control yourself and be emotionally mature just like everybody fucking else. I also, that reminds me of something I was called out for a while back. This is before YouTube and shit. Just on Facebook by some fucking evil bitch. She said I was tone policing her.
Oh.
What tone policing is a woman, especially a black woman, should be able to yell and scream and say whatever ignorant, stupid shit she wants. And you are tone policing and oppressing her if you're ever like, could you please stop screaming at me? Could you please stop preaching to me about bullshit? I ain't trying to hear that. You're tone policing her. That was invented in the same era as mansplaining, but it didn't catch on.
Tone policing still comes up once in a while on Twitter. But yeah, you're right. I haven't seen that in a while.
So white supremacy can come out through the booty, Virgie. That's where it comes out from. That's why that must be why Leaf is so racist. I'm gonna mute. I'm sorry, this isn't my show.
Your boy Pat says Alyssa Milano argued that bullshit, saying black people should support black people regardless of what they did. That's because Alyssa Milano is a white woman, and there is nothing worse in America right now than white women. Sorry. I know people get mad when I say this, but we need common sense white women reform.
Yes.
Stat.
Yes. I get called a coon. I get called a race traitor when I shit on the white women too, Monkey. I understand these weird people who've been on weird forums and I get it. But no, the white woman is a huge fucking problem.
Yes.
I've said it a million times, my friend. We as men need to put our differences aside until we can put these bitches back in their place. And you will find that our differences, a lot of our problems that existed yesterday suddenly don't exist tomorrow.
I keep telling people the problems of the world are because of women, but it's men's fault for putting up with it.
Yes. Do you know why these trans people are allowed to put these books in libraries that if you bring them to a school board meeting and read them, you get arrested reading them in front of adults? Because of white women.
Yep.
You know who backs the LGBTQ shit unquestionably because it's the cool thing to do and it makes them you know why accepting weird, dangerous, stupid shit is considered a virtue these days? White women.
Yep. 100%. And people, it still happens if I bring up the whole white woman thing. What about other women? Yeah, all women are a problem, and we need to deal with them. But the biggest problem right now is white women, and the fact that nobody will tell them to shut the fuck up when they say something stupid.
Here's a statistical fact about the black community that nobody wants to admit. Do you know who puts the most black men in jail?
White women.
Black women.
Oh, that's true. Kamala Harris, forgot.
Who puts more black men in jail? Well, okay, fair enough. Kamala Harris, but I'm talking about just women in general.
Well, yeah.
The white man is not the one putting y'all motherfuckers in prison most of the time.
No, it's
the black woman is, statistically speaking, is the one making the most amount of fucking claims. Just saying.
And that's not to say she's always wrong, but you're absolutely right on the statistic.
Just saying.
Jacob Blake needed to go to jail. All I'm saying.
They're also genociding all the black kids.
A lot of motherfuckers need to go to jail, monkey.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of Blakes fucking up women out there now. I think about it. We had one too. What about Beretta?
Oh,
that's one. All right, so it's like 1 versus 1,000. All right, we got one on the board.
Got one on the board.
Got one Blake on the board.
Now, Quiet Girl says it's white liberal women. No, you don't get off that easy. You don't get off that easy. Because I've told you guys many times, if you're new to the show, welcome. Women's greatest strength is their biggest weakness. It's their compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And you have these women who, it doesn't matter, white, black, liberal, Republican, does not matter. But do we really need to tell them that they're not really a girl? Who's it hurting? It doesn't hurt anybody for them to say that they're a girl. And it's this compassion where you're worried about how they feel rather than reality. And it's where men and women used to compliment each other. You guys would temper our logic with your compassion, and we would temper your compassion with logic. And somewhere along the line, we went, logic? Yeah, fuck that. We might not get pussy if we don't just agree with the stupid shit this bitch is saying right now.
Oh, and women are also, they're liars. They're liars amongst themselves. And I'll prove it. Here's another reason I'm with Monkey on this. Non-liberal white women don't get a fucking pass. And here's why. Gentlemen, one in the chat, if you've been with a woman who's pretty cool and she's listening to one of her friends say the stupidest, most fucked up shit in the world, her friend is absolutely wrong. Her friend was cheating on her man or whatever, trying to justify it. Some absolutely she is wrong bullshit. And your woman sat there to her face and went, you don't have to take that from him, girl.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. You don't have to let him disrespect you. And the minute that bitch got off the phone or left the room, she turned to you and went, she is fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
You won't confront each other. You have the same not snitching rule as the black community. And it holds you down because self-shame is the best form of cleaning up those fucking problems. You know why the gay community got a bunch of pedophiles in it, a bunch of fake ass transgenders? Because they don't gatekeep, because they won't say anything to themselves. I'll say this for Republicans. When Nazis show up at a Republican thing, we kick them the fuck out.
Oh, yeah. And look, just as friends sitting here talking, if you said something I disagreed with or that was stupid, I would go, dude, that's stupid.
Yeah. You can't do that. That's the difference.
No.
A woman, to be a good friend as a woman, you always support your girl. To be a good friend as a man, you are expected to gut check that motherfucker when he does something wrong.
And you should. But yeah, and that is our problem. Nobody is saying no. The power of no, guys. Roll up that newspaper, bop them in the no. Stop saying stupid shit.
Don't hit your women. That's a euphemism, guys.
Figuratively.
Just younger men. If I had any advice for younger men, it's don't capitulate for pussy so bad. There will be more pussy. The most trouble you ever get yourself in your life is not thinking you're going to get no more pussy for some reason. So you fucking start settling and capitulating to dumb shit. Stop it. You're making the whole world worse. It's not just your life and your relationship. Now you're sending this stupid woman out in the world with too much goddamn self-confidence.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And they're not afraid of anything. Now, I want to...
No logic behind it. Go ahead, my friend. I'm sorry.
I'd like to point out that a lot of these problems started at the beginning of the century. Like, it really kicked into high gear. And I could correlate that with an event in 2003 that's tied into Starbucks. And that is the introduction of pumpkin spice latte.
You know, you have a point. I've also studied when things went so wrong. Jack, it's funny to meet someone else who's done this. And I pointed to 1999. The actual apex is 1999. that is when the boy bands and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and all that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Disney.
which, it might be a chicken or the egg type thing. One could have created the other, or one could have, but that does, you make good points.
Yeah, see,
Perhaps it excel. I know basic bitch shit. The larval form of the basic bitch we have today was around in 1999, but to say that pumpkin spice wouldn't horrifically accelerate that problem would be to just be denying the truth, Jack.
Pumpkin spice itself came out around 1934, but it wasn't put into a drink until Starbucks did it in 2003. So
yeah, it's fine if it's pumpkin pie.
Yeah, see, it's been out there, but the spice must flow.
This is like the ending to a Saw movie where it all gets revealed. We should have the Saw theme playing in the background. It's just so quick. Everyone's figuring it all out.
The difference is women used to put pumpkin spice in a pie for us. And then we started putting that shit into coffee for them. You gave caffeine and pumpkin spice to women at the... What the fuck?
People who were immune. Oh, God, it's just so many factors. The men who were immune to it were consuming half of the pumpkin spice reserves.
Yes.
Now it's being consumed by 90% women with the accelerant of caffeine and the basic bitch problem, which the common household bitch problem really started. We've done the math. It's 1999 on that. Wow. How far does the rabbit hole go?
It actually goes back to the 60s when they decided we should educate women more. Just saying.
Suffrage, man.
Now, guys, I do have to wrap this up. I got a game stream I still need to go do. So thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for the donations and everything. You guys are awesome. Really do appreciate it. AP, we don't get to talk enough, man. I always do enjoy this.
We're a couple of night owls, microphone jockeys, man. So we're on at the same time. But yeah, man, it's always a pleasure to be over here hanging out with you. I'll come by again if you're talking about some shit I know about. But I'm a dumbass a lot of the time, so I don't know how soon.
Oh, so are we. We just make it up as we go.
There you go. All right, man. It's been a real pleasure, man. Take it easy.
Take care, my friend. Check out AP's channel if you're not watching him. Great shows over there. He does a lot of reviews of video clips that he does, and they're fucking hilarious. Jack, anything you want to show out?
I'll drop a link to a video. As always, thank you so much for the donos. You guys are awesome. Did the CIA introduce Starbucks? I'm not that far into creating this conspiracy theory. Give me a week.
I think it's deeper than the CIA, man. I think this is Illuminati shit.
No, this is Disney level shit.
Disney level shit. There you go.
Yeah, the Illuminati's got nothing on Disney when it comes to social engineering. But yeah, thank you for the donos. You guys are awesome. Monkey, thank you for having me on. Sorry I was late.
Always, dude. Gonna be on Ranting Monkey Games here in a little bit. Probably playing some more Phasmo. We got up to 4 people playing last night, so it is all working. What would you call this? Misogynometry? Mathogeny? What kind of math is this? It's not math. It's history. It's history. That's all. Ranting Monkey Games playing some more Phasmo. And Jack, we got to stop the white women.
I don't know if we can. That may be an unstoppable force. First thing we got to do is stop teaching them to read.
I just got to get men to get their fucking spines back.
Yeah,
it's okay to tell a woman that she's being dumb when she's being dumb.
Nope, he left. He hit the wrong button again. Put money on it. Here I am, unable to end the show. I'm so lonely. Oh, you hit the button again, didn't you?
No, I did hit back again, but it wasn't on purpose. My thumb twitched.
I knew you hit the button.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose this time. Usually it's my own dumbassery, but this time it wasn't. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Jack, pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Everyone, have a good night. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. There's your song.